Hi everybody, this is the website boy from the websiteboy.com. You can Google it or just click the links below this video there if you want to go to my website and look at more tutorials there. Anyways, I want to show you how to control the length of decimals. For example, let's say we have a program and we're calculating the tax on something, right? So let's say we have a variable called price and the variable is 10.99, right? The price is 10.99, and let's say we have a tax, and this is probably put by a program. We have a program and we set the price for in a shopping cart, right? This is imagining, guys. All right, so be imaginative. All right, so we have a price 10.99 for 90, and then we have a variable for the tax rate, and the tax rate is 8%. So the way we do 8% is 0.08. That's 8% for those of you out there who math wizards. And let's say our program grabs, does the calculation, right? Does the total, and the total is price. Let's take the tax out of that 10.99. Let's include the tax in there, right? So we do, um, let's do some crazy calculations here, very advanced stuff, right? So pay attention. Price times tax rate. Wow, you saw that? And remember what parentheses means? Parentheses means that I'm going to do this calculation before this one. So what we're doing here is we're multiplying the price times the tax rate just to get the calculation. And then we are adding it to the price. That's how you take the tax out of things, guys. That's how you do the tax rate. That's right. Math wizard. Anyways, if you do that right now and you go ahead and refresh, then we get this crazy number. And you might be like, what in the world? If you show the user that, am I paying that for that item? He's gonna probably leave your website, right? So we need to actually make that a little prettier. So let's just, before we display to the user, make it prettier. And that's exactly how we're gonna name our next variable, pretty total. And we're gonna be using a function. Let's do the total first, dot, and then the function to fixed, and we're gonna cut it off to 2 decimals. And now I could have just left it a total there and used the same name again here, but what the heck, feel like alerting pretty total better. And refresh, and now we have a better number. Now if you want to make this pretty, all you have to do is just add the dollar symbol here and refresh, and you can see now that you're displaying the right price. Really cool, right? And we can change this tax rate to whatever we want and then display a different number when it makes the calculation, right? So 10% right there, boom. Oh man, tax rate is going up. But anyways, so now the problem with this to fix function is that if it gives me a 5 right here at the end, then it will round it up in some browsers. So it will not be accurate, and we can't have that. We need to actually kind of prevent this from happening. So if it goes to the 4, if it ends up on 4, it's gonna round it down. So that's a problem with this to fix function here. It's not 100%. All right. So we can actually, instead of doing all this, we can, let me just comment this out, and we can do it differently. All right, what we can do is we can do something like this: if total. All right, and now you don't have to kind of pay too much attention to it if you're really not interested, but I suggest you do. Everything I do, pay attention, because you're gonna learn a lot. But anyway, if it's not something that, anyway, discard what I said before. Just pay attention. All right, it's not too difficult. If total, and then we're gonna use a function called char at, meaning that we are going to grab the first character. This is what that function does. If you want to play around with it, you do it separately and play around with it in variables. So we want to grab the last character of this, and the way we do that is we check for the length. So that length, and then we say -1, because we want to go to the, not to the last character, but before that we're going to take it off, And if we say if this last character equals 5, to 5. Now, before we do that, I kind of forgot to tell you this. We need to convert this into a string because this function only works with string because it's a character, right? Um, so let's change it to a string. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, guys. So I'm converting it to the same variable to a string to string. This is what this function is good for. It's gonna convert the number to a string, and now we can do other things with it. Now we can treat it like a string. So it's gonna go to the last character, which is a 5, is a string now, so it's a 5. If it is equal to a 5, and remember what I told you, it rounds it up, right? So if it is equal to a 5, I want to grab the same variable here. I'm just gonna grab the same name. I can use different names, but I just want to use the same name just to show you. Slice, we're gonna slice it. And remember those functions from the last JavaScript tutorials? If you do not, go back to those JavaScript and look for those slice functions that I got in here somewhere. All right, so just go back and you'll find it somewhere there. Have some slice stuff in there. I think it's in arrays. Show you some slides in there. But anyways, we're gonna slide this from 0, from the first. We're gonna start in the first string character, and we're gonna go to the end, and then -1. And then we are going to add a 6 to it. And this is a string. I'm adding a string, right? So, all right. So once we do that, then down here, all we got to do is, let's just change the variable. Let's just name this variable new total, whatever. This is not a really fancy way of doing it, but it's a workaround that. Let's convert this string into a number now. And that's a number function that I showed you. And now that it's a number, then we can do other things with it. Let's go ahead and say pretty total. All right, let's just make another variable called pretty total. And we already made that on top there, but I already commented that out. It's gonna say new total to fix, and we gotta take those those 2 digits at the end out, and that's it. And then we do this, we can prevent this stuff from happening with the toFix function. So we find a 5, we're gonna add a 6 to it, and that's gonna eliminate that thing rounding it up to the rounding it down, right? So it's gonna round it up all the time now. So this is gonna prevent that from happening. So it's just like a little fail-proof type of thing. All right. I didn't want to confuse you there too much, but this is how we can kind of control the length of numbers there. I wanted just to show you a little example there of the things that you can do with just a couple functions: to a string, the character at, the slice, the number function, the length. All right. So if you want to just pause the video and go through it, do it, do it slowly, and I hope I was able to show you something new today. If you take something out of this tutorial, take this out here, take this. Know that you can make the calculations here and fix all those decimal points, make it down to 2 decimals, and display in a very pretty way to the user. All right. If for some reason you are having a trouble with, you want the really accurate number, make sure that you kind of do a function like this in the bottom that I made, and check for that. Check for that 5 that always gets rounds up and add a 6 to it. That way you can eliminate some of that. That way you can always know that it's gonna go up instead of go down all the time. That way you can at least know where it's going. All right. So anyways, thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you liked it, favorite, like it, comment about it. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next JavaScript tutorial. Bye bye.